Now, have you ever wondered what the behind the scenes looks like when it comes to your home that you have listed on a website, for instance, like Property 24? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you exactly the good and the bad when it comes to the information that you gather from Property 24. Now, if we haven't met before, I am Marcel Lombard and I am with Klerksdorp. Now, like I said, when it comes to a property website, for instance, like Property 24, there is some unbelievable helpful information that they gather to give you a good indication whether you are in line with what the market is expecting outside or out there. And what I mean by that is your pricing in line? Is your marketing in line, your marketing message? For instance, the photos, the videos that you've uploaded, then also your marketing message or the people that you want to attract. Is that in line with what the market is asking out there? So the statistics and the data that you gather from this will tell you, yes, you are in line, or listen, things aren't working out. So maybe you need to review your message, maybe you need to review your price. So without further ado, let's have a look at a few examples.
So what we will be looking at now is looking at a few examples of the data that you can gather that's going to give you a good indication whether your listing on Property 24 is on the right track, whether it's working or not. And then we'll also look at the bad. So we'll also look at a few examples of listings and the data that we get back, or the feedback that we get back. And we'll know that some red flags are popping up when we know that things aren't working as they are supposed to when it comes to the result of selling a home at the fastest possible time at the best possible price. So without further ado, let's look at the good. So with this example, this isn't something that you see very often, but with this, you will see that the feedback that you get from Property 24, that you are on point with your marketing message, your photos, and then your price as well. That's going to be a very important factor. So this is a home that has been listed on February, and what you'll see, or the feedback that you get from Property 24, is they will give you indication of how many views there were on that specific property for that specific month, and then even for the specific day. So this property has been listed in February, and you can see initially it got about, I think, almost 400 or 500 views in that first month. Then the second month, once again, it increased to almost 1,000. April, just above 1,000, and May, it's more than 2,000 views that you've had on that property, on Property 24. So this is already a good indication whether you are on track or not with your property listing, because on average, this is now, for instance, for Klerksdorp. Some certain regions might be different, but this is now, for instance, for Klerksdorp. You'll see that if you get between 15, 20, and 25 views per day, then there is a high likelihood that people are showing interest, and they will, in all likelihood, engage by giving you their phone number, giving you their email address, or even going out and contacting you then directly, or the agent that is working on your home. So this is then the second part that you also need to look at, is the leads or the feedback from the market out there. So for the first time that the property has been listed, that was in February, there were almost 5, I think just under 5 interested parties that either gave their email address and asked the agent to contact them. So that's the contact form. Then number viewed. So that is usually what happens there, is a person goes and has a look at the contact number of the agent and then contacts the agent directly. So as you can see here, you've got a lot of leads coming in for this property. So the chances that this property is still on the market is very small. This property's marketing message, photos, like I said earlier, and then price, it is all on point for the market out there to show a lot of interest. So just to give it a bit of a breakdown, you can see you can also go into the specific months, see on a daily basis what has been happening. So as I said earlier, if on average you get between 15 to 20 views per day on your property, then things should happen relatively quickly when it comes to selling your property. Once again here, you can see this was now for April. On average, the almost 35, 40 views. And then also a lot of people reaching out, asking to be contacted or contacting the agent in this instance. Then another good example, this was now of another property. Once again, it was listed end of March, almost 400 views. Then it spiked in April to almost 800 views. In this particular case, this property is listed at more than 1.8 million. So for Flamwood in Klerksdorp. So the amount of people that reached out also coincides, showing that there is good interest. The pricing is in line, the marketing is in line, given the fact that you are getting some good feedback from and interest from the market. Now, let's look at the bad. When do you know when things are not going according to plan? And when you actually need to make sure that you make some course corrections. So just before we jump into this, it's really important to actually also give feedback on this. Usually when you do market your home, the first 2 to 4 weeks, that is going to be a let's call it an essential period that you need to keep monitoring this on a weekly basis, your feedback from the market, because that is the initial period where the market, so that's going to be the buyers, that's where the market will tell you whether you are in line or not. If in that first 2 to 4 weeks you do not get any feedback, then that means there are a lot of red flags when it comes to either your pricing or your marketing. So let's look at the first example. This home was listed February, and it barely got even 100 views in its first month. Then it dropped off to just above 40, and in April also just about 40 views. And for May, it barely will even get to the 40 mark. So that basically means there's almost one person a day looking at this, and there has been little to no interest on this property. So you'll see this example is the one that, I don't know if anyone watches it, but like my wife likes the Grey's Anatomy. This is now where they call time of death on the patient. What you'll see here is it has completely dropped off from its month that this property has been listed. It's completely overpriced in this instance, and you can see it's completely flatlined, or it has gone stale on the market. If this happens, then one really needs to, even before something like this happens, one really needs to, within that first 2 to 4 weeks, really need to monitor what activity you are getting on your property listing on Property 24 and what feedback you are getting. Because then if you see things like this happen, then one really needs to take a good hard look on your marketing. So it's going to be your photos, your marketing message, and then also one of the main factors is going to be your price.
Well, I hope that you found that in a sense useful. And I do get it. I think a lot of people, they don't care about the data and the statistics. All they want is they want to see their home sold in the shortest possible time and then also at the best possible price. So yeah, I do get it. And I think that is where I want to function as a real estate doctor, if you want to call it like that. A real estate doctor, where I basically give you feedback on what's working, what's not working, and if we see something is not working, then basically give you recommendations on course corrections that one needs to make to get to that result, selling your home as fast as possible at the best possible price. So if you did like this video, and if you are considering selling your home or putting it on the market, then you could go and have a look at the other two videos that I've also got lined up for you here to give you a bit more information on what you need to know. Well, in the meantime, if you like this video, please go down below. Give not a thumbs down, please leave it a thumbs up. Or you can also subscribe to my channel, and I'll be leaving new videos each and every week.